Candlelight can create an aura of romance, elegance, and luxury. Today on my channel, we are going to create a bridal shower wedding candelabra centerpiece using a variety of resources from many of your favorite craft stores. Stay tuned. For this project, you will need 4 Wilton crystal cake pillars, 2 packages of these rounds. You will need 4 packages of these double rounds. You will also need 2 packages of these tea light LED and 3 packs of these LED tapered candles. You will also need 1 plastic tray, as well as 3 of these candle holders, all from the Dollar Tree. You will need 2 strands of these grapevines and 3 of these clear round hanging votive candle holders. Of course, you will need your invisible thread and some greening pins. You will also need some foliage, and you will see what we do with those later in the video. And last but not least, you will need your selection of flowers, any colors of your choice, as well as your handy dandy tools. Let's get crafting. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is ensure that our foam discs are glued together, because what we're going to use this foam disc for is the foundation of our pillars. And so what we're going to do with this is we're going to just spread a generous amount of our E6000 glue around the outer edge of the disc, the outer edge only, and you'll see why in a few minutes. And then I'm going to go in with my hot glue gun and just reinforce that perimeter with hot glue. Now, the hot glue will basically take care of it, but I just want to make sure that we have a forever stay. And then I'm going to sandwich those 2 discs together, putting a little pressure on them, making sure that they're sticking, and you will be able to hear it because it makes a crackling sound. And once that crackling sound wears off, you will know that the discs have been sealed and they have been stuck together. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is take our pillar and make sure that it's centered, and we are going to make a circle around it, or trace a circle around it. And this is going to be the guide that we are going to use to cut out that circle that is going to make the foundation, or the area where our pillar is going to sit. Once we have done that, we are now going to take our blade and we are going to start to score and cut away that styrofoam. Now, as we continue to score and pry up as we're cutting out, you will see that that circle or donut hole will pop up. Now, if you remember, we only went around the perimeter of that foam, and so the bottom part of that hole that we just dug out was not glued down, which makes for a secure foundation for which we can now place our pillar. So what I'm going to do with this hole right now is I'm going to set down some E6000 glue. I'm going to make sure that that glue is getting all around the edge of that hole that we just cut out, that recess, as well as down into the bottom of it. And then I'm going to follow up that E6000 glue again with our hot glue gun, just to ensure that when we set this pillar in, it will be able to cure, oops, I forgot my hot glue. It will be able to cure the way we need it to cure and be set and stable for when we build our centerpiece. And once we put that in there, I'm just gonna press down, ensure a nice tight seal. And once we are comfortable that it's not wobbly and that it's sitting flat, we will set it aside to dry. While we're waiting for our pillar to dry and set in that styrofoam, what we're going to do now is we are going to place some foliage around the bottom, the perimeter of our tray. Because what we're going to do with the styrofoam is line it, of course, but making sure that no one can see the bottom or underneath as your guests are sitting at that table. What we're going to do now is create a perimeter just using our excess or extra leaves. I recommend holding on to them and not throwing them away, because eventually it'll come around where you might need them again. And just going around with my hot glue gun and making sure that those leaves are placed, like I said, around the perimeter and overlapping somewhat, so that we're trying to take up as much space as possible. Now we're only gonna go around the perimeter of this tray, because what we don't want to do is cover up the middle of that tray, so that when it is time to glue this tray onto our columns, there is nothing impeding that from happening. So now here we have the finished product rather, of the leaves that we have glued down around the perimeter, bottom perimeter of that tray. And as you can see some of the glue coming through the middle, but not to worry about that, because we are going to cover it up with our styrofoam as well as with our flowers. And what I'm doing here now is I'm taking my candle holders and I'm making sure that I'm centering it. As you can see, I have a whole diamond on my left side, a whole diamond on my right side, and in the front and the back I'm working with a diamond and a half. And this ensures me that my candlesticks or candle holders are being placed directly smack dab in the center of that tray. And so what I'm gonna do now is just picking one up at a time to ensure that I'm not moving that placement at all, lifting one of them up at a time and going around the edge with my E6000 glue, and then reinforcing that with my hot glue gun to ensure that we can continue working. And then I'm gonna place this candle holder right where I got it from, like I said, ensuring that nothing has moved and we are keeping everything consistently where it was placed before. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to place the other two, and then I will be back to show you what that looks like. Now that we have finished securing our candlesticks to our serving tray, we are now going to glue our foam, flower foam, down onto our tray. And I will say this, if I had an extra moment to run either to Hobby Lobby or to Michael's to get me some rectangular foam, so those would have fit more securely, or I should say equally, around those candlesticks, I would have. But right now I'm working with what I could have found in Michael's, and not Michael's, excuse me, in the Dollar Tree, and what I found were these. And so what I'm going to do with these is just go in with my E6000 glue, and I'm going to make a smile, I guess, on half of this foam circle with my E6000 glue and with my hot glue gun. And I'm just going to place this foam again around the perimeter where those leaves are covering up. I'm going to do a second one so you guys can see. Just very simply putting down some E6000 glue in the shape of a smiley mouth on one half of the foam, and then doubling down with my hot glue gun to ensure a ready adhesion. And once I have done that, What I will do is post that, or place that rather, down next to the second one, making a little bit of an adjustment to ensure that they fit securely. And then I'm going to continue this process and come back and show you what it looks like. All right, so now we have our base that is secure. What we simply need to do is take our other pillar and affix it to the first one that we set down. To do this, we are going to go in with our E6000 glue and our hot glue gun, and we are going to secure those two towers together. Make sure to use a little bit of pressure once we affix those two columns or pillars together to ensure a nice tight seal on those pillars. And what I'm doing now is just making sure that the ends match up, and really they're the same thing, so that's not going to be an issue. And I'm pressing down, making sure that there's a tight seal. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to start to place our flowers. And one of the things I want to say to you when you're placing your flowers on this very shallow foam is not to go in on the diagonal or even on the slope, but to go straight in. And I'm just going to continue this pattern of blue and white, going around the circumference of these rounds, and then on the top of the round I'm going to go in with the yellow hibiscus, and then to seal all of that I'm going to go in with yet another layer of white flowers. But really, if you look, and what I want to tell you about is I went ahead and I wrapped this tower with a vine of grape leaves. I went in and I took all of the berries off, so I was left with just the vine itself. And if you can see, I secured that vine with two greening pins. First, I lay one down, I took the vine all the way up the pillar, secured it where I needed it to stop with some hot glue, and then I wound it all the way back down and secured it with another greeting pin. This way we have yet another layer of elegance or dimension to our centerpiece, and you will be able to see it as we near the end of our project. All right, so now you can get a full view of the vines that I told you I wrapped around the pillars. And what I'm doing here is just getting a quick view of what this is going to look like when we glue it down. And to do that, if you remember, we just went around the perimeter of our serving dish and we did not glue anything down in the middle. And this was the reason why, because we want to make sure that when we put the glue on these pillars, we will be able to attach pillar to serving tray, not necessarily pillar to leaf. And so I put down my first layer of E6000 glue, and then I'm just gonna go in and secure that with, oops, I have to unplug my glue gun, sorry. Secure it with a layer of hot glue. And then once I do that, I will pick up our floral piece, and then I will make sure it is centered and set it atop of our pillars. Making sure that it is centered, pressing down as much as I can without damaging the flowers on top to give it just a little bit of pressure. And now what I'm going to do is show you how I attach one of these clear round hanging votive candle holders to this display. And I already went ahead and tied my fishing line or my invisible thread to this. And now on the other end, all I'm going to do is just tie it around a greening pin. knotting it 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times, or 3 times, I should have said, to ensure that that thread is not going to double up or work its way out of that knot. And once I've done that, I am going to cut off any excess thread that there is. And once I'm satisfied that that thread is securely on that greening pin, I am going to find me a place in one of those foams that is atop our pillars, and I'm just going to stick that in there. And while I'm sticking it in, I'm trying to make sure that the invisible thread is not interfering with any of the floral arrangements, but rather that thread is falling nicely in between each flower, unable to be seen. Here you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our bridal shower / wedding centerpiece candelabra that can be used, as a matter of fact, in any event if you're looking to set the tune and set the mode for luxury and excellence. Isn't it beautiful? I really like the way the clear, round, hanging votive candle holders kicked this project off. In addition to those, I used some of the acrylic gem garlands that we have used in other projects before, and I was able to use tea light candles to give this project a finished touch, including the grapevines and including the color combination that I finally decided upon: the blue, the white, the yellows, with a little hint of pink going on top. Listen, beloved, if you have enjoyed this project, I ask that you do me a favor humbly and you give this project a thumbs up. More so, I ask that you leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know, how do you plan to use this project or this finished product in any events that you might have coming up? Share it with our community. We would love to hear from you. If you are subscribed, my Danny's darlings, to all my Danny's darlings, I thank you for being a member of this community. And to those of you who are stopping by today or just visiting us, please kindly, humbly, I ask you, consider joining our community. We would love to have you. But listen, as usual and as always, it has been a pleasure working with each and every one of you. And so I say to you, until the next time we see each other, be well and take care. Know that I love you all, and I look forward to the next time. Bye now.